Hi angels, in today's episode I'm going to be talking to you about my year of intention and purpose and how you can live an intentional, purposeful life. So it does not matter when you listen to this episode. It does not have to be at the beginning of a year because we can live an intentional life all the time. Some of you might not even know what that means. Some of you may have been living with intention and then come off the rails a little bit and need to get aligned and back on. Some of you may want to start off a new year or a new season or a new cycle with more intention and more purpose, because living with intention and purpose means living your life on purpose, creating a life by design as opposed to just reacting and being thrown around. It's meaning having deliberate thoughts, actions, and decisions that are in alignment with your core values and having a clear sense of direction versus just letting life happen to you and just reacting to what's happening and then realizing that you haven't got any further along. It's about resetting and having intentions in alignment with the person that you are, the person you want to become, and the lifestyle and the dreams and the visions and the goals that you actually want to live for yourself, my friends. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful souls, and happy new year. If it is not New Year for you right now when you're listening, do not worry. You can absolutely listen to this episode at any time because it applies right throughout your life. It applies every time you want to reset. It applies to get you back on track. It applies when you just want to shift the way you're living, right? Like shift into more of an intentional, purposeful life, because that's what this episode is all about. And I have spent the Christmas New Year period completely disconnected, which is something that I really needed. I didn't record any podcast episodes for a couple of weeks. I had intentions of getting some out over that Christmas period. And then I thought, you know what? I just need to switch off. I saw people posting like at New Year's, it's about a week into January right now. And I saw people posting in New Year's and I thought like, writing and sharing and recording around their year that has been and what their focus is. And I felt like this obligation, like I need to get on and share something for my community. And then I thought, you know what? I just need to honor me and give you guys permission to just honor you where you are in the moment. And I did not want to pick up my phone. I did not want to get on social media. The three things I really wanted to work on spend time doing was have a break and have time with my family. Do some renovations on our house, like have this couple of weeks off where we were just kind of just working on some projects at home. So we didn't go anywhere. We just stayed at home. And I really wanted to use this space. There's a line that lives with me from an oracle card that I pulled many years ago that says she rests to create. So I wanted to use that time to get a little bit creative, to kind of get some inspiration, have some reflection on wrapping up in the year, what's been, and starting to set some creative projects in motion going into the new year, and just getting a little bit of time out to what I want to do for the new year. And sometimes when you're so busy, it's hard to actually reflect on that or find the space to do that. I even did like an online workshop. I paid for like an online workshop around kind of like mapping out your year. I was on that workshop for 3 hours. So there's definitely some work stuff that I did. But my main goal over the holiday period, I did not want to go anywhere. I didn't want to have obligations. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do and have a bit of a rest and actually enjoy our home and actually spend time living like I'm on holidays. Because you think about it, right? Like we go somewhere on a holiday and what do? We might sleep in a little bit, or we might, go and have a nice acai bowl, go and have a nice brekkie, go and lay by the pool and read a book, go to the beach, do some relaxing things, have a little bit of a break for you and break from your break with your family away from the world. And I thought, why do we always need to go away to do that? Like, why can't we give ourselves permission to actually enjoy our home or enjoy having some time to, spend time at your pool. If you've got a pool, relax by your pool. If you live somewhere, like we didn't do it this time, but in the past, we've gone, what would we do? Like we live on the Gold Coast. What would we do if we were a visitor to the Gold Coast? So there's been times where I've taken the kids and like, let's just go down a surface and be like tourists for the day, and hired, like they've jumped on mopeds and scooters and done some fun things. Or let's just go over to, Tangalooma, which is on Moreton Island, and we've done like a day over there where we've acted like tourists, or we've pretended we've been on holidays in our local environment, because sometimes we don't appreciate what's right in front of us and we feel like we have to go away to have a holiday. So I would get up in the morning and I would have my raw cacao on my deck, watch the sunrise, jump in my bikinis, go and swim, because the beach is we just literally walk out. We've got house grass, sand, beach and water, go for a swim, float in the water, lay there in my bikinis in my backyard or on my deck, just reading a book, because that's what I would do when I was on holiday. So I thought, I'm going to do that and give myself the time and space and permission to do that while I'm at my home and enjoy my home. And so that's what I've kind of been doing. And I hope you guys take time to do that whenever you need it, whether it's on weekends, whether it's on a holiday. Don't feel like you have to escape. Create a life that you don't want to run away from, that you actually enjoy being. And it might not be there yet. Your house might not be where you want it to be yet. It might not be in the ideal location that you want yet. And that's okay. It will be. Just hold the faith that it will be, because this was one of our dreams. House, grass, sand, water, and have a jetty where we could jump on our skis and go and explore the beautiful islands that we have on our back doorstep. And I've held that dream in my heart for years. So don't think, oh, you're lucky you ended up there. Fuck no. I have been dreaming about this for years and had this vision, but I also had the faith that we will live like that one day. It was never a question of, is it going to happen for me? I always had 100% certainty that yes, this is going to happen for us, but I didn't know when, right? So that's what I want you to start thinking about as we kind of go into this episode, around what you actually want, the life that you want to live, the lifestyle that you want to have, what you want to have around you, like your environment, your visions, your dreams, your goals, the way you live life, the way you feel in your body, the relationships that you have, the money and abundance that you have, maybe the travel or experiences, the life experiences that you want to have for yourself and with your partner or with your family. So I want to invite you to think about all of those things, get your creative juices flowing, get out of your head and into your heart, and having this attitude of, anything is possible. If it happens for other people, why not me? And start the year, or whenever you listen to this episode, have the belief and the faith that anything can happen for you, that life, unfolds for you in miraculous ways. Have this expectation that things will happen for you, that things will align for you, that you will be living your dreams and goals, but letting go of the how, letting go of the timeline, just holding the faith, holding the vision. That's what I want you to do at the start of this episode, because I'm going to take you through some steps in this episode. I'm going to show you how you can set up an intentional year and an intentional, purposeful life. I'm going to also explain to you what that means for me, to give you an example for how it can show up for you. But also, as I start this episode, whenever you're listening to it, but if it is the new year, sometimes we can feel like, I guess I just want to start by giving you a little bit of a reality check, or a little bit of wherever you are right now is okay. You might not have started the new year with a fire in your belly. You might feel like just because it's clicked over from the 31st of December to the 1st of January, like miraculous things are going to happen, or they're happening for other people. Why not me? Why am I still feeling a little bit shitty, a little bit frustrated, a little bit out of alignment, a little bit tired? Like, why hasn't things changed for me? I just want to give you a little bit of permission, or a little bit of an understanding that this is okay, right? Because we are, at the time of recording, transitioning from this kind of 9-year cycle. We've come out of this snake year where a lot of things have resurfaced, ready to be to like a final shedding, going into this horse year. And in this horse year with a lot more momentum, things are going to start happening. But for some people, things might happen. For some people, it might take a little bit later on for them to happen. For some people, they might still have some lessons that you haven't seen You still need a little bit more teaching. You still need a little bit more layers to be shared. We're all at different times, at different phases, at different cycles, different seasons, different mindset, different beliefs, different programming, different conditioning, different environments. Don't judge your progress on anybody else's, okay? Just sit with where you're at right now, because I know for me, for my family, people I've seen in my family, people in my community, friends, even at the beginning of January, like let me give you an example. Like, I have been so pissed off. I've been excited. Yes, I've had some creative stuff come through, but I've had some lessons resurface. I've had some emotions come up where I've been like a bit frustrated with things, or I've been, feeling that there's some things that I still need to work on. It's almost like hard lessons have resurfaced again in these last few weeks for a final clearing, for a final de-shedding. It's like almost like these old structures or these old beliefs or these old lessons have been brought to the surface to finally soften, to finally heal, to finally be, like one last time before they collapse and before they break away. It's like outdated survival patterns or feelings, like maybe you've had heightened feelings of fatigue or exhaustion or burnout or stress or tension or anxiety, or maybe some health things have popped up for you again, or maybe some people have kind of popped up that have triggered you. Maybe you've had some triggers that have happened for you even in the start of this new year where you feel like things should be moving and shaking. Some things have happened because they're highlighting for you what needs more healing, or one more final kind of letting go of, in preparation for your rebirth, in preparation for this like fire of truth. It's like your body and soul knows that something isn't quite finished yet, and it's bringing it to the surface. So wherever you are right now is fine. Just have awareness around that, and just know that things are happening for you, not to you. They're happening for your growth. They're happening for your healing. They're happening for you to shift these things, okay? And some people will go through life reacting constantly and never sit with the awareness, but not you. You're here because you want change, you want growth, you want to learn, you want to get results, you want to manifest your desires, you want to change your life, you want to take exquisite care of yourself. But the biggest foundation of this is awareness, okay, is having a life, like just having this mantra, I'm constantly going to be aware in my life. And most people will go through life never truly awakening and having their eyes shut. But if you can have this awareness of constantly looking at yourself, that things are always going to come up to show you what needs moving and shaking, what needs healing, what needs releasing, what needs to change. This is a growth mindset, right? And this is a life of constant reflecting and awareness that there's going to be times of growth, there's going to be ups and downs, and that is life. We're constantly moving, growing, evolving, and shifting. It's not a linear, we just constantly move up, right? Like we constantly get to the next level. You do, but it comes with having some lessons and some experiences along the way, because our ultimate purpose is growth. Our ultimate purpose is to come into this life as a soul, to learn lessons for our soul growth and expansion. Some lessons are hard, some lessons and rewards are amazing, but we all have different, different timelines, different soul contracts that we come into this lifetime with, different lessons and experiences. So don't judge or gauge your progress or your experience against anybody else. If everybody's having a great start to the new year and you're not quite yet, that's okay, my friends. So I want to just kind of set the stage with that at the beginning, and then just explain to you, I guess, about what is living an intentional and purposeful life, and how this kind of come about for me, and how I want to teach from this place. Because I got to the end of this kind of 9-year cycle, and I looked back at, I looked at my lessons, I celebrated my wins, and I kind of got to this last year where I felt like some things have been amazing. Like some things have been, there's been areas of my life, let's say like my personal life, where we've had some big changes. Like my kids are transitioning into adulthood over the last couple of years. So this life change is happening for me. We've relocated home. Like we packed up in the last 18 months, our home of 17 years where I raised my babies into this new home. And I started my business in Earthy Angels 5 years ago, right? And my business started off growing, but then I found it plateaued a little bit in terms of income, in terms of things that I wanted to do that haven't happened yet. But my personal life was shifting and changing. And I feel like it kind of set the stage because I always had a goal of having a home where I could sit and create from. I could write, I had peace, and I could, because I know what I want to do for my purpose and my passion with my work. But I felt like this little bit of a shifting at the end of the last kind of 18 months, 2 years had to happen. Almost like some areas of your life will plateau while others are moving and shaking and growing and changing and shifting, right? So I was looking back at this last 9-year cycle, thinking about what's been, thinking about how the person I've grown into, but also beating myself up a little bit because there was some things maybe in my business that had plateaued or income goals that had just stayed the same that I hadn't achieved yet. And I started thinking, like this is okay because I needed some time to set my family up. I needed some time to set the stage, lay the foundation, do renos on this home, like get our home environment to a comfortable place, ready as like a benchmark or setting the stage for this new season, this new cycle I was going into. So rather than sitting and beating myself up about what hasn't been working, I had to look at the growth from a big picture perspective. Because if you kind of highlight on maybe one thing that's happened in the last month or 6 months in the last year, have a big picture perspective of what's happened in the last kind of 9 years, 10 years, the last 7-year cycle, the last 10 years of how things have changed for you, the growth that's happened, the achievements that you've had, and where you are right now. And some things, like I said, have been uncomfortable. Some things might have been challenges. But just take a moment to go, I'm so proud of where I have ended up now, of the person that I've become. Might not be where I want to be yet, but that's okay. She's growing, she's evolving, she's becoming. But just be proud and have the awareness of where you are right now and what's happened in that last kind of season or cycle for you, maybe setting the stage for what's coming. So anyway, so I started looking about how we've kind of set the stage because I was feeling a little bit, I guess, that I was starting to feel a little bit comfortable, a little bit lazy. And I spent time, like I just wanted to be at home a lot more. And I reflected and went, I feel like I had a bit of burnout, or I feel like I had a bit of like, we've had so many changes. I actually needed last year to just be a little bit, get my family settled, be a little bit selfish and just have a bit of a break, like from growth, like I was growing in spiritual ways, growing in personal development ways, but maybe not growing in my business or my bigger picture vision of where I wanted to go. So just reflect on that and think about what's happened, what it set you up for. Don't beat yourself up around it, and think about how this has set a foundation for what I needed. And you might have got to the end of that 9 years and felt like you had a bit of a plateau, or felt like some things have been really de-shed and released for you, and felt like, that's just what I experienced. Like I was so overwhelmed. And I'm not saying this about me because I've spoken to a lot of people in the studio, a lot of people in my community who have just felt so exhausted last year. People have said to me, I've just hit burnout. And I know that something has to change. I can't keep going like this. I can't keep living in this busy lifestyle. I can't keep, pushing myself because I've had health challenges, or I'm just so fatigued and burnt out and confused and overwhelmed. And I don't want to live like this anymore. So if you have kind of hit the end of the year and hit a bit of a wall, or felt like you just, things have just plateaued, that is okay, because it's been setting the stage, giving you a little bit of a reset, a little bit of maybe a mental break, or maybe a physical break. Maybe you just needed to, you've quit on your health and exercise because you just didn't have the energy to do it. That's okay, right? It's setting the stage for what is coming next. So I got to the end of the year and I started thinking around, reflecting on all of those things and thinking, okay, what do I want moving forward? And thinking around, I looked back at the last year and went, I didn't even have a holiday with my family. We had a little bit of a break with the extended family of my parents and sisters and that at the beginning of the year. But, we got to the end of the year and I didn't have any time away with my husband. We had an anniversary we didn't go away for. There were things that we didn't do because I realized that I had just been reacting to a lot of life, got to the end of the year and went, what the hell just happened? Where did that time go? So I started thinking, okay, this year going into 2026, I am having more intention and it's going to be in alignment with my purpose and what I truly value. So that's how this kind of, I guess, like this theme came for me, is this intention and purpose was my theme for the year. And we had one of our good friends come over. He's a psychologist. He's one of those friends that we chat with, we get inspired by, we learn from each other. We have really great conversations. And I said to him, right, this year I've started to map out a calendar. I said, we didn't go away. Last year, we did the previous year of any of our weekends away. We would sometimes go away together, do some camping or go out on the skis and go and, have some, remember last year or the year before, we sort of saw Australia Day and camping on over at the jumping pin, watched the sunrise. Like I said, we didn't do any fun stuff like that last year because we were all so busy and in survival mode. I said, right, I've mapped out my calendar. I'm mapping out some time for my family, some holidays that we're going to have. I put in my big rocks, like my retreats that I'm running. And I said, every quarter, I'm doing something for a break, something to look forward to. So I said, all right, how many times do we want to go away this year? And we agreed on twice. And he did say to me, he goes, I love that. Like, the words intention and purpose. I love that. Like, that's so cool. And I said, because that is what I'm putting in my calendar and I'm making it happen. So we said, okay, let's go away around February, March, and let's go away at September. I got straight on the phone while he was there. We're like, let's go camping for a weekend, get our 4 families together because all of our kids are the same ages and stuff. And let's go camping for a long weekend. Got straight on the phone, booked while he was here having a wine with Tom, booked in a weekend, got our group chat happening, sent it out to everyone, said, are you free this weekend? Yep, let's book it in. And immediately we'd kind of booked in, we'd all rung up, paid our deposits and booked in like a weekend away, and everyone was excited about it. So we're kind of having, like, I was thinking about at the beginning of the year, what is really important to me, okay? My business and my family, and this bit of time for myself, time for looking forward to something. So that's how this kind of intentional, purposeful year came about. And if you think about like the words intention, like intention is something that you plan. It's something that you intend to do. Purpose is like the reason or the motivation behind that intention, like your big why, right? Like, what is your reasoning? And most people have a life or have a year or have periods in their life where you just react, like you just let life happen and you get to the end of the year and you go, what just happened? Whereas living with intention, living with purpose is more about like living your life with deliberate thoughts, deliberate actions, deliberate plans, deliberate decisions, and designing your life and aligning your decisions with your core values and having this clear sense of direction as opposed to just reacting and just getting thrown around. It's living your life on purpose. It's living your life by design, but also allowing for flow, not controlling, but having end pictures in mind of what you want to achieve, but also like having this co-creation with the universe, where the universe will give you inspiration, the universe will give you ideas, but then you have to make the actions. You have to take the deliberate steps. You have to actually put things into place. You can't just manifest and wish things. You have to actually take some actions, but also allowing for flow, allowing for ups and downs, allowing for change, allowing for course correction, allowing for pivots along the way, and not being so rigid with your, like everything has to happen like this. It's having this big intention. So my intention for the year is having more time with my family, is actually being deliberate with putting time aside, because things get busy, friends, like all your friendship circles, everyone has stuff going on. So I made a decision, I'm going to kind of put some things into place so that, especially with my kids having jobs now and working full time as adults, if I don't kind of take the lead, map out some things. I'm going to get to the end of the year. Another year is going to flow by and I'm going to go, I didn't actually achieve some of the things that I wanted to achieve, or I didn't have that time with the family that I wanted to have, and actually getting really deliberate and living your life on purpose and putting these plans in place, but living this life that feels authentic, it feels balanced, it feels deeply connected with your aligned values, with your well-being, and making deliberate choices and having like this discipline, this awareness, and just having this awareness around what do you actually want to happen in your life, and how setting these intentions behind what are my big values. So anyway, I digress. I'm going to get into like some action steps now, okay? And I'm going to teach you how to do this, share with you some, some tools, some tips, some advice on how you can set up your year to have a deliberate, intentional, purposeful year, which will compound to an intentional, purposeful life. Because remember, your little daily decisions compound into your weeks, compound into your months, compound into your year, which compound into your life, right? So this episode is not just around this year. This is living an intentional, purposeful life. Like if I look at me now at 47, I didn't just end up like I feel great as a 47-year-old woman. But if I look back over the last 20 years, like I spent my 20s like being really consistent with my fitness, with my exercise, and really making sure I prioritize my health and wellness and my overall well-being. Into my 30s, I added a lot more mindset and a lot more growth mindset and a lot more of the working on myself. Into my 40s, I added a lot more spiritual. So I didn't just end up here end up with our dream home, or end up living a business that I love. Man, it's come with 20 years of I've had intentional, deliberate decisions along the way that have compounded to get me to where I am now. My overall picture over the last 20 years in terms of my health and fitness was not just to get fit to lose 5 kilos, not just to get fit to lose weight. It was always to have optimal health and fitness for life, not just something I do when I have time, not just something I do when I feel like it, but getting really deliberate with exercise forever. So this is not just luck. This is not fluke. This is a deliberate, disciplined decision that I made a long time ago, because my big reason why behind it was to have energy and health and wellness to get me through life, to carry my soul through life, to have the most amazing life experience with my family, to have energy to keep up with my kids, and to have fun and adventure and experience. And I needed a fit and healthy body to be able to do those things. So that was the big reason why that influenced my decisions over the last 20 years to continually look after myself. So you have to get a little bit disciplined. You have to make some decisions. And if you haven't done that in the past, that's okay. What can you do moving forward? So I want to start by getting you to reflect, okay? Getting you to reflect on the past, what's worked, what hasn't, what can I keep doing going into, this next year or this next cycle, or living with more intention. What has been intentional for me? What has been purposeful for me that has worked, that I can keep going with? And also look back and go, okay, what hasn't worked? What lessons can I learn moving forward that I need to change this year, or that I need to change moving forward? And I started to ask myself, okay, so what's one big thing that you could let go of immediately going into this new year or going into this new cycle? What is one thing that I could let go of that is not working, that is not serving me, that is actually going to move the needle for me moving forward? That is actually, what I mean is a tangible thing. So yes, we can change our mindset. Yes, we can change our beliefs, but they're like reprogramming. They're like rewiring. They take time. They compound over time, okay? I'm talking about one tangible thing that right now, immediately going into this new year, that you could let go of, that is in alignment with your big picture vision. So I want you to think a domino effect, okay? So let me give you an example. It could be Giving up wine. It could be a habit that you do, right? Maybe you have wine when you come home from work every night, or maybe, you are scrolling on social media mindlessly all the time. And if you gave up that one habit, so if you stop drinking the wine, I'm not saying you're a wino, this is just an example. If you stop drinking the wine, you gave it up, what would be the domino effect of that? Maybe you would feel a bit healthier in your body. Maybe you would have clarity in your mind and not have mental fog. Maybe the habit of drinking the wine leads to you sitting down and eating unhealthy foods with it. Maybe you sit down and you have a glass of wine and you put your brain in front of the TV every night. Maybe you sit and have your wine and you scroll, and that's not serving you. If you gave that up, the domino effect is maybe it would change a habit where you would do something a little bit more mindfully. Maybe if you gave up that habit of drinking wine, you would lose weight, you would have more energy, you would clear the brain fog, you would feel better in your body, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because it's been a habit that hasn't been serving you. It could just be like scrolling on social media, that you just mindlessly do it every single night and you just are wasting time. And if you gave that up or put yourself a time limit, that would free you up another half an hour or hour every single day that would, lead into or give you space for another habit that is actually going to serve you. So just thinking, like, what is one thing? Maybe you have takeaway. Maybe you've been lazy with your cooking because you're just so busy with work and you find yourself falling in the habit of having takeaway or not prepping your lunches. And that one habit, if you change that, would lead to better, again, maybe losing weight, maybe having more discipline, maybe feeling better in the way that you carry yourself, maybe not having the health problems that you've had, the fatigue that you've had, maybe getting sick and run down. You know what it is, right? I don't need to tell you. But think of one thing, if I was just to let go of it immediately, it would have a domino effect in other areas of my life that would actually lead me towards my goals. So reflecting on that, reflecting on what's not working and actually making changes. Then what I want you to do is I want you to think about your values. Defining your values, maybe getting out a journal, maybe writing down, like, what is my big why? What is so important to me? These values, that could be, let's say, like your health, for instance. Some people value their health, but they don't. They say it's a value, but they don't prioritize the time into actually exercising, eating well, having self-care, taking time for rest. They don't actually spend any time in that area. This is about getting deliberate actions in alignment with your values moving forward, okay? So I want you to define your values. It could be family, and you spend all your time working and don't actually spend time with your family, or because, you come home and you're so exhausted, you sit and scroll on your phone, have a glass of wine instead of sitting and talking with your kids, instead of having time chatting with your husband or your partner or people in your family because you're just burnt out, right? So if your family is a big priority value, we want to make sure you're investing time into that area of your life, okay? So I want you to think about, what are my values? Because your values are going to shape your decisions, they're going to shape your beliefs moving forward, and they're going to help you set your intentions. So maybe sitting down, taking a bit of time to journal. If you're listening while you're doing stuff right now, that's fine. Just listen and think about it. But then I actually want you to write it down in a journal, or just do a list, like, what are my big values in my life? And make it like, the values form like your intentions moving forward, right? Your values form where you want to spend your time, getting deliberate with your time and not just reacting to what's happening. And that's going to happen, absolutely. But your values form where we want you to spend your time moving forward, okay? And make it a visual thing. So you might want to actually create a vision board of your values. You might want to put some Post-it notes up around the house or in your office, or up on a note, your, what do you call it, like a pin board or something that you have. You might want to set it as a screensaver to remind yourself constantly of your values. You might want to have little things around your house, whether it be photos, whether it be some kind of special item that reminds you of your values, like holiday pics or something. Have them around that you see all the time. So when you get off track, you see that reminder and it helps course correct your decisions. So find your values and set your intentions. What do I want to have for me this year? You could write it down. You could have it in vision board. You could write down, what are my intentions? You might pick one intention for the year. You might pick a couple of areas in your life that you really need your focus and really need your energy and really need this season for you to invest in for your life. Let me give you a couple of examples again, right? I find examples are helpful, whether they're mine or whether they're yours. Examples are really, really helpful. I want you to think of like a big picture, like a domino vision or a domino value that's going to ripple out into other areas and give you little goals along the way in other areas, okay? So think about if your value area is health. Instead of having like a short-term goal of, I'm just going to lose 5 kilos, because the people do that, they hit it, then they stop, or they start it and then it becomes too hard and then they quit, right? If your value is your health, I want you to think, okay, how can I set intentions this year for what constitutes health for me? It could be movement, it could be self-care, it could be nourishment. So having those kind of big rocks, let's call it like those big rocks, and knowing that if you focus on those areas, other things are going to be a byproduct of it. For example, if you focus on nourishing your body, putting clean foods, if this is your intention, this is the way that you want to live, this is the person that you want to become, what's going to happen if you put your time and energy into being a person that takes exquisite care of herself, being a woman that nourishes herself? You're going to lose weight as a result, right? It becomes the essence of who you are. It becomes a core value for you. It becomes an intention. This is my focus for the year, is my health and wellness, right? I'm going to put my time, my energy, my beliefs, my decisions into this health and wellness and what I'm going to give to myself. The weight loss is going to be a byproduct. You're going to find when you nourish your body, when you eat well, when you move your body, when you listen to your body, when you're aware of your body, when you have self-care and you actually make your health a priority, what's going to happen is a byproduct. You're going to lose weight. Your skin's going to clear up. Your hair's going to improve. Then what's going to happen? You're going to have more confidence in yourself. You're going to feel more empowered. You're going to feel stronger. What's going to happen then? It's going to impact your relationships. It's going to impact your marriage because you've got a better attitude. You've got a healthier outlook on life. You're mixing with people, and maybe at the gym or maybe in the studio or maybe with people that are aligned with health and wellness and values that you might want to start, listening to some health podcasts. You might start reading some health books. Your attitude is going to change. Your expectancy is going to change. Your outlook on life's going to change. You're going to be more positive. That's going to ripple out into your relationship. That's going to ripple out into your career. That's going to improve your sex life. That's going to make you have more energy to keep up with your kids. That's going to teach your kids. So having going back to that one big rock, that one intention is going to have this domino effect in other areas of your life. Okay. So that's what I want you to focus on this year, is what is that kind of big picture goal or that big domino that is going to knock down all those other dominoes in my life, as opposed to I'm just going to lose 5 kilos. Does that make sense? Another thing could be that you want to focus on growth. Your big focus this year could be maybe your kids have moved, maybe you're starting a new phase or a new journey. Maybe your kids have got older and moved out of home. Maybe you've just felt like you just need a change in your life. You want to be a bit more creative. You want to grow and you want to develop and you want to get more aligned with finding yourself, having this self-discovery that this could be your intention for the year is, who am I? How can I grow as a person? I want to find myself. I want to take care of myself. I want to know who I am. I want to grow this year. I want to find my purpose. So your big picture vision, your big intention for the year could be growth, right? So then what happens is you start thinking, okay, maybe I should start reading some books, which are going to be on creativity, some self-help books, some personal development books. Maybe I'm going to listen to some more podcasts. Maybe I'm going to sign up and do some things that are a little bit more, creative, things that I enjoy doing. Maybe my little habits, I'm going to start journaling a little bit more. And you make time for these rituals because your intention is for growth. You want to maybe start learning some new things, dive into a new course, study something new, and you swap out. You get so focused and excited by your goal that you actually you don't give a shit, or you don't have time to scrolling on social media. Like me, I've got some big picture goals and visions that I'm excited. I'm up sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning, writing out some content, or I was sitting on the holidays, writing out my creative ideas, getting excited and enthused by them, that I didn't have time to scroll. I wasn't interested in scrolling, because you're swapping out, your habits or your rituals for something that's in alignment with your values, that's in alignment with your intention for the year. Does that make sense? We're starting to kind of make a little bit of sense of having that big picture kind of domino intention, that then what happens again when you work on growth? Your confidence improves, your creativity improves. You start to find, what is it I like? What is it I don't like? This is who I am. This is what I like. I don't have time for these other things in my life. I'm attracting people into my life who are in alignment with me because I'm finding myself. You get the point, right? Other things are going to happen as a domino of you having that intention that you are focusing on. So then what you do, so you reflect on what's been working, what hasn't been working. Number 2, you find your values and you set your intentions. Number 3, you got to plan it, right? You've got to take action. You have got to have consistent actions in alignment with your goals, in alignment with your intention, in alignment with your purpose. Just like I said to you earlier, I got out my calendar, I looked at my year, because I found last year I just reacted too much. I got to the end of the year and things didn't happen for me. I got easily distracted, which is fine. I've learned from that. I got out a calendar. I've mapped out the year, okay? Not too rigid, but I've put some big rocks in there. My retreats, where I'm going to, have time with my family for holidays, things that I want to do, some things that I'm doing. Like, what's important for me this year too is like my growth in getting my brand out there more in the community. I've got some things that I've been asked to co-host, to speak on. I've got them in my calendar ready to go. I've kind of put my big rocks in there, and I'm starting to take some actions in alignment with my vision for my year. So you have to build routines. You have to have habits. You have to break it down into kind of small pieces and put these in. You actually have to plan it, girls. You can't just wish it. Yes, you can manifest. Yes, things happen for you by having that vision, having that, knowing what you want. But you got to take action, okay? Like for an example, this house that aligned for us, yes, it was in alignment with what I wanted, but it took some hard decisions. We knew a reno was going to be challenging. We knew that there was going to be work involved. I had to make the decision when the universe gave me the breadcrumbs about planting the seed of, this street. I took actions. I'm checking in with the real estate. Like I said to Riley, if anything comes, she was working in real estate on this street, let me know. And then when we saw this house, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much work to be done. I don't know if it's the right thing. But we took action and we are making it happen. The universe dropped the breadcrumb. The universe dropped this in my lap. So grateful for that. But we've had to show up and do the work. We've had to kind of tweak it. We've had to make it our own. We've had to put in the hours. It's this co-creation with the universe. The universe gives you seeds. The universe gives you breadcrumbs. The universe gives you inspirations. The universe gives you ideas. The universe shows you people around you that are living a life that you want or doing things that you want to do, because they're a reflection of what's possible for you. The universe gives you signs. The universe gives you synchronicities. The universe gives you these little nudges along the way. I was going to say kick up the butt, these nudges, but you have to take the action and you have to actually co-create with the universe. It's like, for an example, one of my big domino goals this year is to really expand my brand. I've got so many ideas that the universe has given me, God, source, universe, have been sitting in here for a while that I have not acted on, but I also believe in divine timing. Now is the time. I've set my foundation. I've set my home up. I've set my family up. I've designed this creative space ready for me now to take action on these things, ready for me to get going on my ideas. I feel like I've started the year. Yes, we've had challenges, definitely had some challenges, but I feel like this new fire in my belly, now is the time, Lise, get going. That's how I'm feeling. And I know if there's one big domino goal of really investing in my time, my energy into growing my business, into growing my brand, is then going to have this domino effect in other areas of my life. There's things I want to do. There's things I want to give away. I have dreams of, I just want to gift someone a retreat one day. I have to be profitable to be able to do that. I have to pay teachers. I have to, be able to profitable to run my business, to expand my business to the way I want it to be. I have to then, with this domino goal, if I build the brand the way I want to, then what's going to happen is this domino goal is going to help me live more of my purpose, feel more fulfillment, give things away. It's also going to bring more income in to do the things that I want to do with my family, And so if you focus on that one area, it's going to ripple out into other areas, okay? You get the point, but you've got to build it into your calendar. So I have time where I've got to put in more time I've got to be more consistent with my work. I've got to get off socials, like the mindless scrolling, and swap that out for habits that are actually going to move the needle forward in my business. I've got to create time and like set meetings and set all of these things up in my calendar for it to happen, as well as the time with my family. And then I've got to show up and do the work just like you do. So these things have to be built into your calendar. They have to be built into your lifestyle in alignment with your big picture values. Okay. So that is really, really important. Building routines. So if your value area this year is your health, okay, you got to carve out time to go to the studio, to go to the gym, to get up and go for your walks. You've got to carve out time, put it in your calendar. When am I going to do my food shop? If you're busy, order online, right? Like you can actually make things a bit easier for yourself. Get deliberate, get intentional, make decisions around what you're going to invest your time in. It means setting boundaries. It means saying no to things. It could be like, say no to people that don't serve you, say no to people, say no to events. You feel like you have FOMO and you want to miss out on these, you don't want to miss out on these things, but if they're not in alignment with your big intention for the year, you have to have boundaries. You have to say no. You have to have discipline with yourself to maybe turn off the TV, stop scrolling, don't get the takeout, don't have the wine, like all of those things. It doesn't mean that you have to, you still have balance. You can absolutely still have balance, but what I'm saying is you have to make decisions that are in alignment with your values and have that little bit of discipline and actually make it happen. You have to take an action. Could be joining the studio, could be joining a gym. It could be, finding a workout buddy, but even that you've still got to come back to, because workout buddies come and go. You have to have the confidence to do these things yourself, and they come by starting to take an action. Make a phone call, make the inquiry, reach out, start the course, start the study, clean out the kitchen. Like, what is actions that I can take right now that are in alignment with my values and my intention for the year, and schedule it in. You have to. And the last step is you have got to reflect always. Again, you've got to adapt, like things will change. Life changes, things happen in your life, unexpected things happen, things change. You might find that habits, it's a constant process of awareness and change, awareness and shift. What's working, what's not working, and looking at yourself. How am I feeling? If I was to, I'm going to start talking a lot more about this, this Angels framework, okay? This is something that I've looked back on, something that I've done a lot of, and something that I'm going to bring into a lot more of my trainings, my coaching, my courses moving forward. This Angels framework is have awareness. You've always got to have awareness of what's working, what's not, what do I need to change, how am I feeling, how's my nervous system feeling, how's my body feeling. N is for nourishment. You've got to nourish yourself, girls, body, mind, and soul. And nourishment could be taking time out, like taking that little bit of time out to reflect and finding that space to reflect and nourish your soul. So it's a constant process of nourishing yourself. G is for guidance, like the guidance that's coming through source, God, universe, signs, synchronicities, messages, like all of those kind of guidance that the universe gives you, paying attention to it, opening up to it. E is for energy, energetics, understanding your energy. How am I feeling in my nervous system? What's, how am I feeling? Learning the law of attraction, learning law of vibration, learning how your energy works, your thoughts work, learning the subconscious programming, learning about your energy and how you interact with people and how your energy sets the stage. L is for love and self-love and compassion and looking at the world through the eyes of love, looking at people through the eyes of love, looking at yourself through the eyes of love, and having a bit more of when you get back to the root of more love, and that is love and self-compassion for yourself. Like example, with what I'm talking about now. You reflect and have self-compassion. If it's not working, be okay to be flexible and adapt and change. That's okay. But having that love and that softness towards yourself, living more in that feminine energy, because there is strength in softness, girls. There is strength in intuition, like that, getting connected with your intuition. And S is surrender. Surrendering to life, surrendering to the flow, surrendering to the fact that we can't control everything, surrendering, letting go of perfection, surrendering to there's a bigger plan, surrendering to letting go of the how. So this angels framework is I'm going to start bringing it into the core of everything that I talk about. And it's a really powerful way to that constant reminder. Remember angels. I'm constantly, anyway, I won't go into it now because I'll get off track. But this is going to be the foundation. And one of the big foundations is, again, awareness. How is my, constant awareness? How is my actions aligning? How are they showing? How am I showing up? What's working? What's not working? And what do I need to tweak and change? And being flexible to go, this isn't working. That's okay. I'll change it. I'll do something different. Being flexible with yourself, reassessing. It's something we do for the rest of your life, girls. It's something that we always, always do. And I just want to finish off by sharing with you something that came up for me in the holiday period with having this bit of time off is I have so many women have asked me to coach them. So many people have asked me for over the years, have said, can you please, I want to work with you in more of an intimate container. They'll get to, over the years, I've run challenges. I've gone on retreats. I run women's circles. People listen to my podcast. I get amazing messages from people that have just said, you've really impacted my life and I want to learn more from you. That I decided to start this Earthy Angels Collective, like this container, like this inner circle where I'm going to work more closely with a group of women. I only want the women that are actually prepared to invest in themselves for the year, that want to make changes, that want to actually have growth, that want to get results, that are prepared to commit to themselves for the year. I'm opening this coaching container where we're going to have this beautiful community. It's like spiritual, because I've got a background in PT, mindset, spirituality. It's going to be like holistic spiritual wellness coaching and a community. The big foundation is aligning yourself with like-minded people, having a supportive environment who are going to lift you up, who are going to help you achieve your goals, who are going to help keep you on track, who are going to be that your cheerleader, that are like-minded, that no matter what you do in your life, whether it's in business, whether it's in health, whether it's in your growth, whether it's in like your fun, your adventure, surround yourself with like-minded people who you're just going to bounce ideas off, who are going to keep you on track, who are supportive, who have your, have your back. Surrounding yourself with people that you actually want to be like, that you aspire to be like, that you get ideas from, you get inspiration from, you get motivation from. Having this small group of people for the rest of your life, and they will change. They will grow because you will have new intentions. You will have new areas you want to focus on. You will have new life stages, when you're pre-kids, have kids, post-kids, you always, or goals of business or goals of money or goals of growth. It's a constant evolution of change, girls, for the rest of your life. But along the way, surrounding yourself with the people, season, reason, lifetime, right? In that moment that are going to help you with your growth, with your evolution, with your goals, with your visions, with your dreams, with your intentions. Always surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And like-minded people is also environments that you follow on social media, books that you read, podcasts you listen to. It's this conducive environment for your growth, right? And that's what I want to bring this collective together for, is actually bringing women together who have a common goal of bettering themselves, of improving their life, of living with more intention, and want to design their life and get what they want. And so that is what I'm bringing together in this container for the woman that wants growth and change and results, and like-minded women. We're going to have in-person catch-ups. Like, I think it's so important. Quarterly catch-up. There's going to be coaching. There's going to be mentoring. There's going to be like teach you the spiritual tools and rituals, keep you on track with looking after your body. Earthy Angels philosophy, looking after your physical and nourishing and connecting with and looking after your soul, body, and bringing them together. In the process, you're going to improve your mindset. You're going to improve your attitude. And so just bringing this container of growth together, where we're going to have fun along the way. You're going to learn so much about yourself. I'm going to prompt you to dive into the deep diving, because people say to me, I want to do the spiritual, I don't know how. I want to learn the tools, I just don't know where to start. I'm scared because I feel like it's just too woo, and I don't want to be too woo or afraid or different. I want to normalize spirituality and go, girls, this shit will help you. Like, this will help you in every area of your life. Wouldn't you want to tap into your intuition, to tap into trusting yourself, to tapping into this universal guidance that is going to help you steer the path for where you need to be, that's going to help you get in alignment, that's going to help you manifest what you want, that's going to help you make better decisions, that's just going to help impact and steer you away from obstacles and impact your whole life. I'm going to teach you all of this in this Earthy Angels Collective and bring you together with this amazing community of women. So don't miss out. Okay, we're going to kick that off when kids go back to school, because that's when my demographic of women are ready to go and ready to get back into routine. So all the details will be up for that, and you can jump on and join that. So I hope that has helped, my friends. I hope that has helped you. Remember the steps. Reflect. What's working, what's not. Define your values. Set your intention and your purpose for the year. Plan it, schedule it, like take the consistent actions, and then reflect, refine, tweak it, and remember to be flexible, to have that flow, that you can't control everything, my friends. And I just want to wish you the most incredible year. Just not this year, moving forward, girls, the most incredible life, sending you like I just want you to have a life of love, of health, of wellness, of abundance, of prosperity, of joy, of loving who you are, getting in alignment with who you are. Because when you get in alignment with yourself, girls, guess what? You manifest what you actually want, what your heart and soul desires, not what you think you want, not what other people are doing, what's in alignment with you. But you've got to get in alignment with her, right? You've got to remember who you are at a soul level. And when you do these things, you start to accept yourself more. You start to love on yourself more. You start to take better care of yourself, that you just improve your life. And that's what I really want. I remember saying to my husband like 15 years ago, when I was very deliberate with exercise and working out and working on my mindset and personal development, I fell in love with personal and spiritual development over 15 years ago, and I haven't stopped. And I'm like, Tom, why doesn't everyone do this? Why doesn't everyone work on their personal and spiritual development? Because it's too hard. They don't know how. They don't have the right people around them. They've just never been shown. That's what I want to teach you, because I saw when I really focused on looking after myself physically, spiritually, mentally, that body, mind, and soul trilogy, whole life changed, and I got happier, more fulfilled, living my purpose, and just things lined up for me. And that is what I want for you. I really want to help you live your best, most fulfilled, happiest life. And I will help you, girls. Stay in this container, stay in this environment, and your whole life will start to shift. Have the most abundant year, my friends. Sending you so much light and love, and I'll see you in the next episode.